Hi, I'm Dave once again with Operation Eagle's Wings, honoring all who served and leaving no one behind. And today we have the distinct pleasure of being with Eric Weaver, an infantryman who served with the U.S. Army, received the Purple Heart because of an IED explosion that struck his convoy, and his wife, Misty Weaver. Eric has returned to Central Oregon, and one of the challenges that he's experienced, along with many others, is the lack of jobs here in Central Oregon and where his family is going to live. Eric, as you were thinking about coming home back to Central Oregon, that was a big concern of yours, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was one of the biggest. Trying to find, like I said, a place to put my girls and my wife, and just a place for me to live too when we got home. And then trying to find work when there is none. It's one of the biggest things that I was concerned about just before I got home. So.
And because of the efforts of a bunch of veterans advocates, Central Oregon Veterans Outreach, the Federal Neighborhood Stabilization Program that helped pay for a home in Lapine, and also an effort with the Lapine Band of Brothers. Bob Riley is with us. Bob, how do you feel about these young servicemen coming back? And
we've all gone through it as vets from different conflicts, and recognize, I think, the overpowering need to do something for them, and that's where this all came about. And I think there was something like 9 of us just went over there one Saturday and cleaned the place up. Just as an example.
Misty, what does this mean to you? You have between you have 3 kids?
We have 2 kids, yes, and then my stepson. And it means everything to have a home, to have a place to be, and not to be worried about where we're going to be staying. So,
Eric, how does it feel to serve your country, put your life on the line overseas, and then have to worry about if your family's going to have a place to live when you come home?
Well, it's pretty frustrating, to be honest with you. You know, being a single soldier in the military, before I got married, the Army puts you up. They put you in a barracks, a house, you get fed and everything. But being a soldier that's married, they give you extra money for housing and stuff, but you're told to go out and find your own home. But being in the National Guard, it's a little bit different. So it is a little bit frustrating. I mean, coming home, not having a place to go, when you've served your country for the last year and a month or however long it's been for other soldiers. It's very frustrating. It's like, it's hard to explain unless you're in that situation. I mean, I know a lot of people out there don't have homes and they're losing their homes for foreclosure, and
it's hard.
It is. It's very hard. I mean, especially when you've done so much. I mean, not that I've done more than other people out there, but it's hard when you try your hardest and you do everything you can,
and
but nothing works. You never succeed.
What do you mean nothing works?
I think the people that have been out looking for jobs, and there are no jobs, so they can't pay their rent and they can't pay their bills, and it's just, that has to be so frustrating. And without this group of people, we would be in exactly the same situation. And we've been there before, and it is so hard, especially now that we have kids. And
yeah, the first time it happened with us, we didn't have kids. It was just me and her. But now that we have kids, I mean,
you can't
my
sleep
girls
in your
and my
car.
I
you
know.
Can't.
My girls and my son, they're the most important thing other than my wife to me. So it's one of those things that they come first.
It's just stressful.
They'll eat before I eat.
So with the help of Central Oregon Veterans Outreach, the Lapine Band of Brothers, this federal program that purchased a home that had been foreclosed on, and now you own it, and you'll be paying about $450 a month and an annual loan, and you plan on just staying there as your permanent home.
We're going to stay as long as we
they'll
can.
let us.
So what's ahead for your future? Now you're still in the National Guard. Are you still looking for a job, and what are the options there? What's the hope?
I am. I'm currently still in the National Guard. I have another 4 years left on my contract. I do drill in Woodburn now because I'm with Bravo Company with 3 of the 116. I am still looking. I do not want to go on to unemployment. It's one of the things that I just really don't want to do because I'm a very active person. I got to be up, moving around, doing things, and I'd rather work for the money to feed my kids. I don't want to just take. Like with this home that we got, it's not something I'm just going to take and not give back. I'm going to help out with whatever I can because they helped me. So it's just one of those things that I'm going to keep looking for work. I used to do construction. Construction's kind of down the drain now, so I want to become a police officer, so I'm going to work my butt off to try to become an officer and see what I can do. There's not much more I can do. Just try my hardest.
What can we do as a country and the folks that live here in Central Oregon to assist families like yours when you're just coming off of deployment and back here and trying to settle into the United States?
Well, the National Guard, when I was, just before we came home, it was a really cool thing. The 3 of the 116 actually got all of us soldiers that were in our unit, at least. I don't know about the other units. We all did resumes and tried to get stuff rolling for work when we got back home. 3 of the 116 actually is trying really hard to help with soldiers find work. So I can't talk bad about that. But the community needs to help out. I mean,
what specifically can we do?
I think people in general that have businesses and own businesses should be open to looking for veterans and letting the veterans know that they can come and look for a job there, because if we support the veterans, I think that's the number one, because they're out fighting for our country, and what are we doing for them?
Now, Eric, you received the Purple Heart. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You were injured with an IED blast in your convoy?
Yeah, I can go through a little bit. I was the truck commander of my vehicle. I had a driver and a gunner that was with me. I was the lead vehicle, which we called the FSC. We were heading towards FOB Warrior from FOB Spiker in Iraq, and we were struck by a 155 round IED. The front driver or passenger side of the vehicle, which was my side, had been hit. It disabled our vehicle completely. No one was seriously injured. I had a concussion. Basically, it was a mild traumatic brain injury is what it was considered through the military. And I did receive the Purple Heart. That doesn't make me special, in my opinion. There was those guys that were with me and everybody else in my convoy and my platoon and all 3 of the 116. Every one of those guys did a great job. They all deserve it, in my opinion. They all deserve medals and everything. I mean.
So is this TBI injury that you received, is it causing any long-lasting impact?
Not really. I mean,
Not that you know of.
not that I know of. I mean, I feel great. I feel great as it is. You know, in my personal opinion, I don't think I should have got it, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm going to accept it, and I thank the military for doing that for me. But I don't think it was a huge deal. I mean, it was a concussion. Everyone else has had concussions as kids or as adults, and the government's not doing anything special for them. But that's my opinion.
Bob, I have a question, but you have a comment first.
Well, I was just going to comment that one of the things about Eric that we liked, he's volunteered to help us if we get into another project where we need his expertise. And he's more than willing to volunteer to help us, and we like that because that's where we're coming from.
Now, you were a veteran of Vietnam?
Korea.
What's going through? Okay. What's going through your mind as you're seeing these young men and women come back? You know, it's kind of a different world, different situation, different kind of injuries. What's going through your mind? You've been through this before, but this is a little bit different game.
Yes, it is. You know, I don't know quite how to answer your question, except that those of us that came back at a time when a whole lot of men were coming back, and it was more acceptable, less of an urgent need. These guys, young people coming back now, are having a tough time of it because they've got to have the help. They don't have the background. There's not half the country involved. You know, an awful lot of us have gone to work every day and totally forgotten about them until we read something in the paper or hear it on the news. And so once I came over here, it just became the thing, you know, to do what you can to help. And like I tell Eric, if 50 years from now, if he will do that same thing for somebody else, be it a vet or non-vet, but somebody else, remember what was done, and turn it on. And we all have to give something back. I feel very strongly about that. So.
Okay. Eric, before the interview, you said you initially didn't want to sign up for the Army, but you've had a change of heart as far as service in the military, and you're actually encouraging others to join.
Absolutely. My best friend Jeff Morris, he joined right out of high school, and I told him he was an idiot for joining. I completely thought he was stupid. I told him that. But 3 years later, I joined, and it was the best decision that I've ever made. Not just because I've lost my life or given my life to the government or anything like that. It's not like that. It's I'm doing a service for my country.
To protect.
And exactly, to protect. I mean, I have 3 kids, and I have a beautiful wife and my family, and people like Bob that's done it before. It's one of those things that they've done it for me. Why can't I do it for them? And Misty's brother, Gabe, I've been talking with him, and he wants to join the Navy. So I highly encourage everyone that doesn't know what they want to do with their life or anything, even if you know what you want to do, go into the military.
Just look at it.
Yeah, look into it. I mean,
Don't count it out. It should always be an option.
exactly.
Okay. You can say that even though that he was overseas and in harm's way, you can still encourage others to think about it.
It is definitely hard to do as a military wife with kids. I can definitely say that, but long term, everybody has to sacrifice to get where we need to be as a nation. So I think everybody needs to give. Nobody should be out for themselves. Everybody should be giving, and we would be so much happier.
Well, last question. The 30, 60, and 90-day Yellow Ribbon events, they've tried to give returning servicemen and women a softer landing and having you go to these Yellow Ribbon events a month, 2 months, and 3 months after you come back to make sure that everything's going okay, you're not having, issues. How important are those events?
They're pretty important for the most part. I mean, especially if you have a family. I mean, the reintegration process of having soldiers come home, like with me being gone a year and coming home to my kids, that life had kind of moved on for them. They've all grown a year, and I didn't really grow. I mean, yes, I got older, but I didn't grow. I did the same thing, every day in country that I was supposed to do. I did my job when I was deployed. So when I got home, I was still the same person other than being in that, war, what's the right wording for that? The war zone, I guess you could say. But then with my girls and my son and my wife that have all grown together and grown up more, I come home to that and try to force my way back into it. It doesn't really work. So it's good with those yellow ribbons that help kind of reintegrate us together. And I mean, yes, we have to do it on a personal level, but
it's still good for the soldiers, I think, for the soldiers in general, because not only are their families and friends and everyone coming to recognize what they're doing, but it also is for everyone else. So, when I go, I'm not supporting just Eric, I'm supporting all of the soldiers, and that's what all of the other military wives are doing, and family, and because they know what it feels like to not have. And so when you get them back, it's just, it's amazing.
I see a lot of smiles here today. Last question. Do you think the government, you mentioned that you'd like to see the community do more, but you're appreciative of what has been done. For example, like Lapine Band of Brothers and Kovo and the others that have really come to the plate and made this home possible for you. You're very appreciative of that. But as far as the government, do you think the government should do more for returning servicemen?
Absolutely. They can always do more. I mean, I know just me saying this isn't going to make it change, but if everyone steps up and they all work together.
Just a little bit. If everyone does a little bit, then it turns into a lot. So, I mean, even if you get one person started and they touch 2 people and they touch 2 people, pretty soon everybody is doing something to help. And that's how it should be.
Do you think the banks and the financial institutions could be a little bit more soft-hearted as far as not doing as many foreclosures and allowing more people to stay in homes, and maybe for a little bit less money, but at least they're getting something for the loan?
You know, I do. I think that the bank should work with the families. I mean, let's say they just go and foreclose on a house. They're not going to get any of that money. I mean, they try to sell it and underbid. Let's say I owe $200,000 on a house and they foreclose on me because I can't pay it, and then they sell it to like the Band of Brothers for $100,000. They just lost $100,000 instead of working with that family and trying. I mean, even if their rent's $600 and dropping it to $300 for a couple months so they can make their payment and still eat food and still keep their vehicle. I mean, I think those banks should be able to work with them. I mean, when they stick on it and have such like a hard head, like this is the way it's going to be, all they're doing is hurting the community, kicking people out on the streets.
No, everyone loses. Everyone loses. They lose. The people in the house
Yeah.
lose. And especially with like the veterans that are homeless, you see them everywhere on every single corner. You know, they're like, we need help, we need help, we need help. And people just ignore them. And there's all these empty houses everywhere. Like, why can't they stay there? Why?
Bob, anything you'd like to add?
Well, I had a comment that sidetracked me now, and I can't.
Okay. Eric, I just want to thank you for your service to the country. And Misty, thank you for allowing him to serve. And pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you.
I'm Dave Adams, Operation Eagle's Wings, honoring all who serve and leaving no one behind. Okay.
So I think we're staying in here to meet with Kim.
Yes.
Experiencing something we haven't gone through before.
Right. And we're trying to do our part of Kobo. And I've got to say, the community in Bend is hugely supportive of veterans, and we're fortunate to be in an area of the country that values its veterans. I talk to people all the time from the other side of the mountains, on the east side of Oregon, the west side of Oregon, and they tell me that when they come to Bend and see what support the veterans have here, it's incredible, and they go back to their side of Oregon and wish that they could create what we have here.
Okay. And of course, you're open to giving them advice if they wanted to start something like Central Oregon Veterans Outreach or Coastal Veterans Outreach.